Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Najahan and this company called Wonder Transportation. In this video, we will be explaining about item 5, which is physical safety. Before we go for more, Wonder Transportation is a public transport provider. Our major item that is so important to our company are physical safety, data safety and security, of course, and also telecommunications. So, in our policy, based on item 5, there are 5 sections, which is first vehicle, and then area, the third one safety tools, and next environmental safety, and the last document safety management. So let's see what vehicle is all about.
Okay, so now I want to present about group work policy. Our title is Wonder Transportation Policy. The first 5.1 item is vehicle. Okay, the first point is ensuring that the tools work properly during the business is running in action. Because we need to make sure all the tools are in good condition so that no accident will happen when it is operating. The second point is vehicles component need to be checked every day before operating the business. So just like I said earlier, customer safety is our number one priority. So a true check must be done at all vehicles so we can ensure that the vehicle is good enough to operate and safe enough for the customer to use it. So this all from me. Thank you.
5.2 area. So we have 3 rules in this section. The first one is provide signs for the public restricted areas and the staff only areas. Because they are areas which is private and only have access for staff, so we make restricted areas for public and for staff only. The second one is publicize information of what should be done and route to a place of assembly if any emergency events happen. So let's say if a fire happens or if there are disaster, so we have a place for them to gather for this kind of occasion or this kind of emergency events. And the third one is install the alarms and 24-hour security cameras and surveillance system as example of closed circuit television around the organization premise. So let's say if there happens to be a robbery or there happens to be a crime in that place, so if police needs evidence, or let's say our lawyers need evidence, so we have the surveillance camera for them to take and get as evidence for the investigation. So that is for 5.2 area.
For 5.3, tool safety. Their objective is make sure tools are safe and secure from being stolen, damaged, and also to prevent any disturbance towards the tools. 5.3.1 ICT technologies. All staff has to make sure their tools are under good condition and can be used well. Secondly, staff are responsible for items that they use. Next, the usage of password is mandatory when accessing devices. Then, all devices needs to be stored in places with low temperature. Then, staff are not allowed to change the location of the PC without permission. After that, main switch must be turned off when leaving the place to ensure no damages occur. Lastly, do not change or alter the IP address from the original one. 5.3.2 Data storage. Data storage must be stored in a secure place with constant observation by the employees in charge. Secondly, make sure only the authorized employees can access the data storage. Next, all data storage must be controlled in order to prevent breaching of data. Then, all data access and the transferring of data must be recorded. After that, tools for backup must be stored in a safe and secure place for usage during emergency. Lastly, permission from owner of data is required when changes or deletion of data is made. 5.3.3 Software and application. Only software that are authorized by the company can be used. Lastly, applications are not allowed to be shared with outside parties without organization permission. 5.3.4 Maintenance and devices. Firstly, Ensure all devices used in public transport station are maintained by authorized staff. Next, test all the devices before and after maintenance. Lastly, all maintenance must have permission.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I'll continue to 5.4, which is the environment safety. The objective here is to protect the organization's asset from any accidental behavior, mistakes, and also natural disasters. So firstly, for the environmental control, the safety plan for staff and customers should be provided at both the company and also the station. Next is to provide enough safety tools such as fire extinguisher and emergency exits at places that are convenient and safe for the visitors. The recommendation and advices from the fire department should be followed here. And then the room for personnel only should be labelled at the station and closely monitored. It is for avoiding visitors and customers from entering it. Then instruction on how to use the safety tool must be provided, and also to ensure safety and comfort, smoking is not allowed on the premises or at the transport station and is mainly prohibited while on board the vehicles. Then we move to power supply. Here it is vital to check and test all the equipment supported by the power supply to ensure the functionality. Then to protect all the main power supply from any harmful sources, to make sure all the ICT equipment at the public transport station are connecting well to the power supply, and also to the backup power supply must always be ready if any damages happen to the main power supply. Then we move to cable safety. The cable safety must be ensured that it is always be in a good condition. Then the specification of cable must be identified before usage, and then protect the cable assembly line as to prevent any damage and wiretapping, and also label the cable to identify any damage or short circuits. And lastly, for 5.4.4 is emergency procedure. Here, all staffs, drivers, the customers must always be informed and reminded of the emergency procedures at the transport station premise, and even when in the transportation itself. Then any emergency accidents or even small accidents must be reported immediately. Then update and test emergency plan at the public transport station from time to time. And lastly, make sure the transport station and transport itself are equipped with the complete emergency supplies such as the first aid kit and the fire extinguisher.
Alright, the last one is document safety management. The managing of the documents should follow the procedure of documentation in order to ensure information integrity within the documents. First, all the information and documents stored must be labeled by its classification, and then the files or documents sharing or transfer must always be noted. Any loss or damage to the documents must always be reported immediately. And last, encryption is very vital in order to protect the most confidential and top secret information. As conclusion, item 5 in policy explaining more about safety for physical, which is a real thing, such as vehicle or documents. So that's all from us. Thank you for listening.